thought I'd have a short conversation with you all about left and right and where it can lead when you go too far in every direction. Because right now in the world, I feel like we're leaning very heavily to the very far left, which people think is liberal and people think is openness and absolute freedom, but it's not really. It's another form of governance. And I feel like at this point, when you look at it, if you see government and, you know, political left, political centre, political right, if you see them all as a straight line, at either end of those lines you've got dictatorship and authoritarianism, and the only thing that's changing is what you're punishing. I don't know why I'm feeling like this at the moment. I've just had it's silly really. I was on Facebook, I called somebody an arrogant cunt, and Facebook have decided that's against their community standards, and that's their place to say that, and that's fair enough. The guy in question made a comment, and I replied, but it wasn't really valid to what I was saying. It's silly really, and I called him an arrogant cunt, and he reported me, and I got unilaterally banned from using groups for a day. It's minor, it's nothing, but it just got me thinking about how it works, how you know, we're going into the nanny state. We're going very hard to the left here, where you know, you need to be looked after, you need to be told what you can say and do. The thing is with the right and the left is that authoritarianism and dictatorship still exist, so the left think that being so left means they're super virtuous, super free, and what they're really saying is, and the way politically it's going at the moment is, like, we think, say for inclusivity for example, it's inclusivity or else. It's not inclusivity just as inclusivity, it's inclusivity, and if you don't believe what we're inclusivizing, then we're against you. If you're not an ally, then you're our enemy, is what they're saying. And it's not right. I don't think it's right. I feel like you should be in the middle, centre ground in politics. You take some options from the right, some options from the left. You want to give, on the left side, you want to give people freedom of expression, liberty to go and do their own thing, freedom to move around the country. Brilliant. On the right hand side, you also want rules. So we can't have people going around murdering everybody and everything like that, so that's fine. So we've got rules. And in the centre, in an ideal world, you've got a central government. No one's always going to agree, but if you go too far to the right, you end up with Stalin and Hitler. If you go too far to the left, you end up with a woke version of the exact same thing as Stalin and Hitler, where people start getting excluded from online conversations, excluded from social situations, based on the fact that they don't agree with the leftist, hard left ideology. And we're going so far to the left at the moment. And this is what concerns me, is that just all this over calling somebody an arrogant cunt really, but my freedom of speech, if the man who made a responded to my question didn't want a response that he got, he shouldn't have made a silly comment, and I wouldn't have commented back. Or he could have made his argument a bit more valid rather than talking rubbish to me. But I've said, and this is only, okay, it's on an online forum, but we're talking about Meta, who, like, you know, the metaverse, Facebook, big companies that are taking control of by financial support of certain institutions and things. So if Facebook's going to be the moral compass of the world, and they're already policing a nanny state on their own online social platforms, if I'd said something outrageously racist or outrageously, unreservedly, without definition, without any hint of irony in it, if I'd said something so disgusting, you know, N-bombs, anything like that, the guy, in fact, the guy on the picture, he looks Caucasian, he's like me basically, but with darker hair, that's fine. So it's not about race or anything like that. But what I'm saying is, if I'd said something outrageously racist, outrageously bigoted, then yeah, fair, ban, own it. But I didn't. I called somebody who was being an arrogant cunt, an arrogant cunt. And at that, it's just a synapse of what could potentially end up happening if we let this hard left lean that's going on across the BBC, across the television. I mean, I could get into Doctor Who. I'm not going to, but I could get into Doctor Who. But seriously, what I'm saying is, authoritarianism exists at both ends of this spectrum, and people are walking into it with their eyes closed. And this little thing that's happened to me today is just not open my eyes. I saw it coming. I knew it. I didn't know that I was going to get banned today from using my groups and stuff over a silly comment. But on a lower level, it's like people feel like they have a right to not be offended, and that's not true. You don't have a right to not be offended. Your feelings don't matter as much as actual facts do. If you're offended, then you need to take yourself out of a situation. You don't need to start complaining to people higher up that you're offended, because offence is it's not what do you call it? It's subjective, not objective. So what some person might find objectively subjectively offensive, someone else might not. And if we've got fragile egos in the world talking about they feel upset because someone called me the C-bomb, well then why are you involved in a conversation when you knew there was probably going to be a reaction? You made a smarmy comment and I reacted to it. But on the grand scheme of things, if you look at, but this is how it's going, because we had that lady that quoted a few years ago, quoted song lyrics and they had the N-word in it, and she ended up actually going to court, and she was initially found guilty of hate speech because she used an N-bomb, but it wasn't her words. She put out on Facebook as well, actually, which is where this comes from. She'd put out song lyrics because she was white and the song lyrics had an N-bomb in it. She got prosecuted by the police. I can't remember her name now, but in the end it got overturned, but it had to go to appeal, and it should never have got to that point. And so this is what's making me worry. So I just feel like people need to be just opening their eyes and looking at where we're going with this. Wokery, gone mad. I mean, I agree with certain things. My personal philosophy is this: like, do what you want to do, be what you want to be, sleep with who you want to sleep with, and believe in whatever God you wish to believe in. However, don't make it your mission to then force everyone else to see it your way, because not everyone's always going to agree. And I don't think forcing people to see it your way, like on a personal level, case by case, I'll be civil to people and I will accept people for who they are, however they want to present themselves, whatever. What I don't need is being lectured to on television and on every avenue, media, news, TV programs, and stuff that's supposed to be entertainment about what should be or shouldn't be socially acceptable. It's an absolute joke, to be honest. And I just feel like today just kicked me, made me wake up and realise what's going on in the world, and it's nuts. And realistically, you need to just be yourselves, just be who you are as people, and you don't need to be we should be in the centre. Governmentally, we should be in the centre ground. There should be right voices and left voices, not far right. That's ridiculous. That's where your racism comes in. But now we've got this far left lean where it's inclusivity or we'll exclude you for not being inclusive, which is ridiculous as well. And another thing is that if people, and this especially for people who describe themselves as anarchists, I've just got home, so I'm going to get out of the car now. But this is if people describe themselves as anarchists, they don't understand what anarchy actually is, because anarchy is hell. Imagine having absolutely no government and no consequence for any action you ever did in your whole life, and an obligation, because the police are there for a reason and law is there for a reason. Law absolves you of the need for revenge. Yeah, someone dies in your family, or something gets stolen from you, you report it to the police and the police issue a legal consequence. If there's no police there, that person steals something from you, well then you've either got an obligation for revenge, or you're going to get rolled over because there's no rules. Anarchy is literally no rules. People think anarchy means all the wokies are going to come out and it's going to be a great time. It's not, because all the wokies are going to come out, but so are all the nutters. So are all the hard right guys that want to burn and kill and maim and stuff. And it'll be an absolute bloodbath. No one wants anarchy. And the left think that's where anarchy leads is ultimate liberalism. But it's not. It's really not ultimate liberalism. It's the worst situation you could possibly be in. This little video, this took a journey. It went from one place and it ended up elsewhere. But what I think people should be aware of is that we're going too far. We're going too far. with the hard left stuff. We should stay in the middle. Everyone should have a reasonable opinion, but it should be in the middle ground. Because word policing, it's just wound me up today, to be honest, and it just annoyed me. So I thought I'd just put it out there. Thanks for listening, guys. Have fun.